Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast with Kevin Harrington and Seth Greene. Kevin Harrington is the inventor of the infomercial, one of the original sharks from the hit TV show Shark Tank, and has generated over $5 billion in TV and digital direct response sales. Seth Greene is the world's first trusted authority on cutting-edge direct response marketing, a best-selling author, and the only 3-time Marketer of the Year nominee. On the podcast, Kevin and Seth interview sharkpreneurs who share straight talk on what it takes to explode your business.
49 faces looked to him in triumph. Over the last 12 months, they had each taken turns and promoted his business for a week at a time, driving over $987,342 in revenue. What if you had a network of 50 centers of influence who promoted your business every week for a year? Grab your copy of the #1 Amazon best-selling book, The Ultimate Guide to Growing Your Business with a Podcast, at 33% off the Amazon price by going to ultimatepodcastbook.com. Again, that website for 33% off the Amazon price is ultimatepodcastbook.com. Welcome to the Sharkpreneur podcast. This is your co-host, Seth Greene. Today, I've got the good fortune to be joined by Eric Malka from The Art of Shaving, the best-selling book On the Razor's Edge, The Story of the Art of Shaving, and Strategic Brand Investments. Eric, thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me, Seth.
Our pleasure. Now, obviously, we want everyone to get the book, but let's ask just a few history questions. What inspired you to start The Art of Shaving?
Well, I was looking for opportunities to make a few dollars, and I just happened to start working in the industry and came across the concept of barbershops with old-fashioned accoutrements and products in London, and thought it could be an idea that could work in New York City. So that really was the impetus for that.
And obviously, there's a huge journey between where you started and where you grew and ultimately exited The Art of Shaving. Can you talk a little bit about some of the biggest lessons you learned along the way?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the lessons I've learned along the way, I've realized later on as I was reflecting back on my journey. But thankfully, my wife and I had really good instincts to avoid some of the pitfalls, right? Some of the things that really helped us along the way were, first of all, we started really small. We tiptoed and we continuously built speed. We didn't try to win the race in 1 year. We did it pretty fast. I mean, from kitchen table to acquisition in 12 years is not a long time. But we feel that the early years, we really developed a foundation for the business, where I think a lot of people focus on growth. We focused on really building a strong foundation. The other thing we did that was really important was that about 2 years into the business, we created our own brand. And that was a game changer. Really developing intellectual property creates tremendous value for the entrepreneur. We started the business as a multi-brand retailer, which was valuable to us because we generated profits. But when we launched our own brand and started selling to stores like Neiman Marcus, we became a consumer packaged good branded company, and that's a game changer.
Absolutely. I would imagine that would help in getting you enormous amounts of essentially free advertising as well.
Yeah, we ramped up very quickly. We were lucky. I mean, that's the part that I cannot explain exactly how to create, but we rode a wave called the metrosexual movement in the late 90s, early 2000s, and we were positioned perfectly to take advantage of that wave. So we opened almost 800 retailers in the span of 3 years when we launched the wholesale business with our brand. And that put a lot of people's eyeballs on our products.
How do you manage for that type of growth?
I'm an organized, structured individual. I like to keep my socks collar organized and folded neatly. So my business was basically the same. You whatever you're good at. For me, My superpower was consistency. I started my career at 18 years old in New York City in a warehouse in the garment district, shipping products to Nordstrom. And when I look back on my career, I said, there's a reason I was making $150 a week shipping goods to Nordstrom back then. I knew exactly what to do when I had to ship my shaving cream to them later on in my career. So, one step at a time, man. We just structured and kept everything organized. And I try not to get ahead of my skis. I didn't try to get my company to do things we were not ready for.
What inspired you to write the book?
Helping entrepreneurs. When I started to really realize that 99% of new businesses will not reach $10 million, 70% of them will not exist in 10 years. I realized that maybe lucky ones like me have lessons to share. Success leaves clues, and I wanted to tell my story, which is an interesting story according to a lot of people, but I wanted it to be more than that. I wanted to be embedded with lessons and principles that can help you win at the game of startup.
Well, we greatly appreciate you paying it forward. How did strategic brand investments come about?
Well, what I call the morning after, when you sell your business, you wake up the next day and you're like, okay, what am I going to do when I grow up? Fortunately, I had two beautiful babies that I wanted to really spend a lot of time with. But when they started school early on, my wife and I were approached by a local dermatologist who wanted us to help them with their skincare business. And I always had a dream of becoming a venture capital guy, an angel investor. And one thing led to another, and we dove into that business. We took a minority stake in the business and really helped that business thrive. And we generated a 10x return in 7 years, and we thought, hey, this is validation for me to really make this my full-time job, and it's something I can do without jeopardizing my lifestyle. Having fun while being fulfilling are the two guiding principles of what I do professionally. And maybe I'll make some money out of it, which is not a bad third elements to throw into the mix.
And talk to us a little bit about who's an ideal investment acquisition for SBI.
So ideally, it's a company that's in our wheelhouse. We are strategic brand investors, so we bring strategic help along with some money. Therefore, we need to be able to help you. We need to have disproportional impact on your growth. That's how we minimize our risk, by the way, is by helping the entrepreneurs avoid some of those pitfalls that we talked about. And it has to be people that have their head in the right space, that we feel are have the potential to get all the way. And with our help, that potential increases a lot. And people that we enjoy being around because they're going to be in our lives. So those are some of the criteria. Obviously, the business has to be branded. We don't invest in companies, we invest in brands. That's very important to us. There's a lot of great companies, but that's not the business that we're in. We're in the brand building business. So those are three of the criteria we use.
And you mentioned an exponential return on that dermatologic business. What were some of the things you did that helped them move the needle so much?
Well, we did what we know how to do. We helped them enhance their product line from a branding formulation standpoint. We revamped their organization to be set up for scale, and we helped them organize their ship to become more of a rocket ship so that they can grow successfully.
What have been some of the deals that you regret passing on?
Oh, the Dollar Shave Club, probably. I kind of shrugged it off when they were offering 40 million valuation. They sold for $1 billion something. And I thought they weren't a brand, they were just a gimmicky company. That's probably a big one. I don't regret it. I wasn't ready for it. Um, yeah, I don't live with regrets. I don't have to do deals. I do deals because I want to, not because I have to. So I don't look back in the rearview mirror that much.
That's a great philosophy. What were some other than the dermatologic deal that you've enjoyed the most?
Well, we've recently, as I've seen the art of shaving go down over the years as a brand. There's a company called Barbarinos out of Italy with 20 barbershops and a beautiful product line, great guys running it, and really luxurious branding that I've had a relationship with for 3 years. And a year ago, we decided to really jump in and help them grow this thing. And it's been a lot of fun to get back into a business that resembles so closely the business that we were in, but with a much more modern outlook.
Your passion is obvious. What do you like best about what you're doing now?
Working with the founders and getting some of their energy. I've lost that fire to build a company, but I get my jollies from their fire and helping them and just going, having an impact. When I hear that I'm having a positive impact on their business, i.e., their lives, to me that's very rewarding.
You mentioned the ability not affecting your lifestyle. What do you do when you're not managing SBI?
Um, so many things. I mean, I love to travel. I have teenager kids, so I have to be present, and they're a lot of fun. I'm not a baby guy. I enjoyed it, but I like the teenagers. I like to boat, I like the sun and the surf, exercising. Your basic stuff, social life, just knowing, just being able to have my weekly meetings with my founders if I'm in another part of the world is freedom to me, and that's lifestyle. I don't mind it. I don't consider it work. If it feels like work, I don't want to be doing it right now.
How many companies are you advising at the moment?
I think I'm advising 5 or 6 right now. We have about 15 or 16 companies that have requests into us, but we only take 1 or 2. If we take 1 or 2 out of the lot, that's a lot. That's a big percentage.
It sounds like that's probably because you're so personally involved in helping them so much.
Yeah, I'm very personally involved, and I don't want to be a victim of the good deeds never goes unpunished motto. So I'm very careful. I get to really learn about people and push their buttons, see how they react, and make sure I'm getting in bed with good folks.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, we know your time is incredibly valuable. We greatly appreciate you spending some of it with us. For our viewers and our listeners, where is the best place for them to go to get the book and for them to learn more about SBI?
Well, the book can be found on our website. We personalize every book that's sold on our website. You can also find it on Amazon.com and books, Barnes and Nobles. You can find us at ericmalka.com or at strategicbrandinvestments.com.
All right. Well, this has been Seth Greene for Sharkpreneur with Eric Malka for strategicbrandinvestments.com. Eric, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody, for watching or listening. We'll talk to you or see you next time.
Why do so many businesses struggle while others seem to explode overnight? Do you wish you had the secret to this type of exponential growth? Now, I've scaled more than 20 businesses to over $100 million, and it's not just luck. In my new book with Mark Tim, Mentor to Millions, you'll learn the repeatable framework I use in all my business ventures for massive success. Order at kevinmentor.com and get over $1,000 in bonuses. Head to kevinmentor.com.